I'll make a straight cut there, another diagonal cut, straight cut there, another diagonal cut, and I'm counting as I go here. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope all y'all are having a wonderful day. It is Friday, November 8th here in South Georgia. And the last time we were out here figging around, I showed you a really simple and easy way to propagate fig cuttings at home. We started one of these Mary Lane cuttings in this tree pot here, wrapped it in plastic, and this has been planted in not even 2 weeks. You can already see we've got green buds forming there. So no doubt this is an effective technique for small scale propagation. But as promised on that last fig video, today I'm going to show you how we do fig propagation on a much larger scale. So today I'm going to walk you through my process step by step, show you how we take a fig cutting and turn it into a nice fig tree like this, ready to be delivered to your door. So the first step in the process is to determine what fig trees we're going to cut that day. Now, I'm pretty aggressive with my pruning techniques, but I know that if I take too much wood from one of these in-ground trees, it might sacrifice too much of next year's growth. So I don't want to take too much, got to be careful. I want to take enough, but not too much. So let's use this LSU Scots black tree right here as an example. I've already taken a decent amount of cuttings off this particular tree right here. But when I'm going to cut a tree, I have to take at least 32 cuttings at a time. That will make a lot more sense later. I could still take some cuttings from this tree, but I'm not sure I would want to take 32 more from this tree. So we're pretty much done pruning and taking cuttings from this tree for the year. Just gonna leave it be. Looks good to me. Don't want to take any more off of it than that. But this Geoneri tree, which we're going to take some cuttings from later in the video, is ripe for the taking. We haven't gotten any cuttings from this tree so far this fall. Lots of good opportunities there as we try to get this tree a little more manageable. So once I figure out what trees I'm going to cut that day, it's time to get the cart ready. So each set of 32 cuttings will go into one of these plastic containers here. I put a little bit of water in the bottom, and I go ahead and put my labels in there. That ensures we don't get anything mixed up in the process. And I always do 5 at the time, so I won't even come out here and get started on any particular day unless I can do 5 at a time. So let's go ahead and get started on this Geoneri tree that I showed you earlier. And yes, doing this while the trees are still green, while they still have figs on them, will sacrifice some of my fall fig production, but I just get way better and faster propagation if I start now as opposed to waiting till the trees go dormant. So when I come to a tree like this, I like to start at the bottom or with these limbs that are poking out into my mowing lane. So I'll start out by getting these few limbs right here. See if we can grab that one there, both of those there. Pull those off, and then see if we can get this larger one here without having to go get our loppers. There we go, got it. And so now we'll start cutting these larger limbs into individual cuttings for propagation. Sometimes these limbs will have some side shoots that are long enough to use for cuttings themselves. This one here isn't, it's only 3 or 4 inches long, so I wouldn't use that there. We just clip it off. We also will clip off all these green figs as we go along there. So start at the end, and we'll clip off some of that side growth. And as I've showed you before, I always like to take a diagonal cut on the bottom there. Just makes things way easier when we go to dipping these things later. And I'm looking for at least 3 nodes on each piece. So 1, 2, 3 nodes. I'll make a straight cut there, another diagonal cut, straight cut there, another diagonal cut, and I'm counting as I go here. So that's 3, and I just keep going until I get 32 in my tub here. Alright, so we got 32 Geoneri cuttings in that tub there, some with only 3 nodes, some with a lot more than that, but that tub is done. Now we just need to go fill these other 4 with 32 cuttings as well. Alright, so we got 32 in each of our tubs there. Now this next step may or may not be necessary, but it makes me feel better. I like to give these a little bit of sanitation with some hydrogen peroxide. So I just squirt a little bit into each tub there, and then we'll top them off with water so that all the cuttings are submerged. So those are all good to go there. They'll just hang out and soak in there until we get our pots ready. And so now we need to add some of this Pro Mix to these pots right here, and this is why the number 32 is so important. We've got 5 flats here. Each flat has 32 cells. That's why I take 32 cuttings at a time. That's why we did 5 tubs, because 5 flats fits on this table perfectly. Now that we've got Pro Mix added to those pots and got it sufficiently moistened, we just take our little stick here and make a nice little dibble in each pot. So now we just need to put our sticks into our soil here, and this is where doing that angle cut earlier saves me so much time. Yes, I can look at each cutting, look where the scar is, and tell whether it needs to go this way or this way into the pot. But with that angle cut there, I don't even have to think about it. It saves me a lot of time. I know that sharper cut there is going to go right into my rooting hormone, and I know that straight cut up top is going to go right into my wax, and then right into my pot. So this part of the process actually goes pretty fast because of all the preparations we've made to this point. Cutting them the right way and all that doesn't take long to just stick them into this soil here, get a little rooting hormone on them, get a little wax on them, and get them nicely seated in there. So now that we've got 4 out of 5 trays done, I can show you the next step in the process, which is to top these off with perlite, which helps tremendously with fungus gnats that can be quite the problem on baby fig trees. So yes, this is an added step to the process, but perlite is a heck of a lot cheaper than losing fig trees to fungus gnats. And as you can see there, we go very heavy on the perlite. I try to put enough where I don't see a speck of that Pro Mix. Now these are ready to be added to the pile. And this time of year, usually within just a couple weeks, we start seeing leaves. Now, this doesn't mean we have roots down there yet. Usually leaves precede roots, but we should start getting some roots pretty soon. So if we get back here, we can kind of see the progression of budding from when I started to those I just put in here yesterday. So here's some I just did yesterday. No action happening on those yet. But here we have some I put in here just last week, I think, maybe a week and a half ago. Already starting to see some tiny leaves on those. And then back here again, the ones I did first are looking pretty decent. And so once those little babies in the 2.5 inch pots get a nice root ball, we step them up to these 4x9 pots and start fertilizing them pretty regularly. And that's how we go from a stick to a fig tree that's ready to be delivered to somebody's door. Now if you're thinking I made that look way too easy, it's because I did. There are a lot of background tasks that go into the whole process that we didn't show on this video for the sake of time. A lot of things that go into maintaining a fig orchard, proper labeling, greenhouse upkeep, a lot of moving parts to this whole system. But hopefully you enjoyed seeing the propagation process on a large scale. And before we go, I do have a very, very important update on our ability to ship to all 50 states within the contiguous US now. So in the past, we were able to ship to 48 states on the mainland. We weren't able to ship to California and Arizona because they have more strict interstate plant shipping regulations. And my inspector at the time told me that probably wasn't feasible to get those additional certifications. However, my old inspector has retired, and I recently got a new inspector, which I was a little bit nervous about because some inspectors are a little more tough than others, but I really like my new inspector, and she's helped me out getting the certifications I need, the tests I need to be able to ship to California and Arizona. Still waiting on the results of those tests, but I'm pretty confident they're going to come back as allowing me to ship to all 50 states in the contiguous US now. So stay tuned for that development as we roll into the new year. Probably won't be able to do it until the new year rolls around, but I'm very excited about being able to send trees to those states now as well. And if you missed our last fig video where we showed a much simpler home propagation process, if you just want to do a few cuttings, you can see that on this video right here. We'll walk you through it step by step and show you how we were able to get some nice green buds on this cutting here in less than 2 weeks. So check that out, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.